Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be making 4 levels in Geometry Dash, ranging from 10 objects all the way up to 10,000 objects, increasing as we go. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Hello there, VoiceOver Carter here. I'm going to be going over the first object limit, which is 10 objects. So I'm going to explain what every object does because, well, there's only 10. So first off, for the gameplay, we've got just a simple 4 spikes and then a slope. So the first spike is already there, and it's got a nice glow decoration, so that's 2 of the objects. And then we've got 3 move triggers, and those make it move 3 times. That way you've got 4 jumps to jump over, and so that brings a total to 5 objects. You've also got a slope at the end and a nice end screen, and by that I mean text that says 10 objects. So that brings it to 7 objects. And the other ones, we've got a color trigger that changes the color of the ground over the span of the entire level. And then we've also got a giant particle and a move trigger that makes the particle follow the player throughout the entire level. So yeah, that's what all 10 of these objects do, and together, this is what it looks like. Alrighty, so it's time to start with the 100 object level. So starting off, we've got this border thing that stays in the corner throughout the entire level, just to add a nice bit of flair to it, make it feel more decorated than it actually is. Then also at the start, we've got this audio visualizer thing, and that takes about 15 objects. It's like a stair step kind of thing, but it fits with the song and syncs with it, and that sends you into a red pillar with a yellow pad on top, and that syncs with the beat drop of the song, or not beat drop, but the start of the song. We've got a single spike jump, and then we've got these back-to-back 4 blue orbs in a row that you gotta click. Now, real quick, I wanted to say in the background, before we get too ahead of myself, I've got the background, which changes colors throughout the entire way, but I've also got these cool wiggly structures. Now, these only take 4 objects, and I got the idea of doing this after seeing Sputnik's video making, I think it was How, his level, and he talked about the spiraling pillar things, and so yeah, I had the idea to use those objects, to these 4 objects right here that you're seeing to make it, and I used these like laser things to make it more wiggly because it felt more dynamic like that. And then moving on to the rest, we've got some simple, some normal jumps into some green orbs, and then those go into a platform and then into a spider orb, and then after that, it's a single spike jump into a red orb that launches you over the GG100 objects, quote-unquote end screen. So yeah, that's it for the 100 object level, and this is what it looks like all put together. Alrighty, so for the 1000 object level, we've got this start where there's some lasers at the start. It's like a lens circle and then slowly zooms out with a red orb jump to kind of sync with the song. And then you go 3 times speed into a yellow orb jump. Now this whole level has a space theme. Now the other levels kind of had a theme, but this one is far more defined, and that is quite obvious because, you know, 10 times the amount of objects than the last level. So yeah. But we've got these galaxies in the background, we got the stars, and just some asteroids floating around. For the gameplay, we've got some simple, like, just spider orb into slope into jump gameplay. But it takes place on, like, these asteroids and satellites. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Next, you move into the ball, where you're going from satellite to satellite, jumping up and down over them. I don't know why that sounded like such a generic description for like a game almost. But anyways, next up, it sends you into a ship part, which syncs with the song. The transition does at least, and then you hit spider orbs, which those also sync with the songs as you're dodging the asteroids, so you're just going around that, and then you go into this rocket ship, kind of based off the Saturn V, not entirely, but, you know, the inspiration is there, And then you go from this rocket and an asteroid crashes on it, but thankfully you got off in just the right time and land on some planets. We've got Saturn, we've got Uranus, and then we've got Mars, Earth, Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter. Fortunately, wasn't able to add all of them. I planned on doing it, but that would have taken too many objects. And so, yeah, you're just going from the planets. Some of them are pads, and some of them are auto. But yeah, then you fly into a proper end screen this time, themed around the level itself, and then you go into this cool black hole at the end, which I thought was a nice touch and made it fit together better. But also, I want to shout out this little secret because I had one extra object, and so I decided to add a rattle dash onto Jupiter. Don't know why, but I just thought it would be fun. Now on to the 10,000 object level. So I'm not going to be able to describe as much of it anymore. It's more so just going to be talking about the parts. So yeah, so for the first one, you're riding on a motorcycle, which is the Wario bike from Mario Kart Wii, and you're driving down this street where the windows are flashing kind of to the beat of the song. And then you've also got the moon in the background, and the road is kind of like a parallax to give it a little bit more depth. Then you end up hopping off the motorcycle, doing some simple single spike jumps, and then you end up doing this cool jump to where it starts fading to gray into the Waluigi pinball building. Once again, we've got two fun things. We've got a Waluigi Dash picture. I just thought it would be kind of a funny little thing. Don't even ask what it is. I think it's like a movie poster. I don't even know what I was thinking it was when I was making it. But then we've also got a thumbnail from one of my videos. It's kind of just like a goofy little thing, but since I have the objects, I figured I'd include it. If you haven't seen it, it's the video where I make Waluigi Pinball Machine. You should go check it out if you want to. But yeah, anyways, moving on to the next section. We've got to where you're actually like on the pinball machine. It's what it's supposed to be like, and there's like a sound visualizer at the bottom because it gives it more of a dynamic feel, and it's just some ball like gameplay with some orbs. Then you go into a ship part. Meanwhile, through all of this, there are just pinballs flying all over the place. Next, in this ship part, you are able to fly around. You can hit the bumpers, but they'll just kind of bump you around. They don't really do anything, and you can technically survive this part as auto. But then you move on to the pinball flipper. So this part is auto and transitions you upside down. I thought it was pretty cool. It does not necessarily, like, this part could have just sent you down to a normal thing, but I thought it would be interesting if you were kind of going all over the place, like if you were an actual pinball. So yeah, then you do a loop around one section and you hit a dash orb and go up to a higher section. Now this dash orb does not appear until you've done the loop, so you won't be able to hit it and cheese the level. But yeah, then you go into this semi-auto section. Actually, I think it's auto up until the dash orb, which sends you through a spot that kind of is reminiscent of the tunnel from Waluigi Pinball, or that's what I was going for. Hopefully it does. And then you go through and you're in like the Waluigi pinball thing, and there's a giant Waluigi in the background. Now this took a while to make, so this video was probably going to originally be like 2 weeks or earlier than it actually is, but yeah, making this boss fight was quite the challenge. So yeah, Waluigi is in the background, he's throwing pinballs at you, he's angry, he ends up hitting the screen, and on the third one, your cube transitions into this white background, and it's an icon wearing a Waluigi hat and mustache, and then you go into this more modern styled part. I figured this would be a nice little deviation from the style that it had currently been in, and I think it actually looks really nice. I ended up adding this secret coin, which is supposed to kind of be like the L's in the background, but I think it is a bit obvious, but I think it does the job. And then I've disabled the spinning animation so you can't super obviously tell. It's pretty obvious though still. But then later in this section, you end up going to a part where your cube is like jumps out of the screen and the background shrinks. And before you know it, you're jumping from pinball machine to pinball machine. And once you reach the last one, your robot walks off, it zooms in, and you get yourself a proper end screen. So yeah. And now that all that talking is out of the way, it's time to show you the showcase of this level. Enjoy. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video when it comes out. And also put in the comments down below if you'd like me to do more Geometry Dash videos similar to this one. That's it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!